So when we finish the ballad, what do we do in the exchange? You guys like high five or like what do we do? Can we do that real quick? Just
yeah, we can do it quick.
We don't need to sing the tag again of the ballad, but let's make believe we're finishing the ballad for a moment.
It's just as simple. We're taking applause, they're still in their stance. Then when I break, they break.
Guys behind us, come on. We gotta check everybody out. Okay, we're good, yeah. And then,
Steppin' out with my baby, can't go wrong, cause I am right. It's for sure, not for maybe.
here's the good news, and you captured this even after lunch on the unofficial run-through. So keeping the warmth and the newfound warmth, like that wider sound we discovered in the ballad a bit, hearing it into this song. And the cool thing is, this type of haunting minor-esque up-tune has more of that ballad feel. With permission, can we all do that? Can't we all be bass for a bit until stepping out instead of just the basses? Can everyone do the bass run? What is the bass run? Is that it? Don't we all sort of know it by osmosis? Seriously, that actually might sound cooler. The basses sound great on it, but it might even sound bigger and richer. Sounds like, wow, sounds like 80 basses doing that intro because all of us are singing it. And then you would go right to your first note. So, stepping out of your lead, then you go right into the launch into the next text. Can we try it? Just start it without the visuals. He'll give you the count, but don't worry about snapping or anything. Let's just see what it sounds like. Now, for all of you that have had on your bucket list, I've always dreamt about singing bass. This is where you no, one more of that. More of that from everyone, even the tenors. More of that. Well, for those of us Canadians. That's Absolutely, we want to start like sounds like several speakers kicking on now. Let's do that in total performance mode, please. Any questions? Raise your hand if you now know the bass part. Good? Now, so even when Mark starts snapping, I want to see your transformation from that stunning ballad to not just the costume change ain't going to be enough, you know, right? Not just the interaction before we start this tune and he comes out. So more of that. I need to see you turn into a bass right in front of our ears. That should be happening as he won't pitch. Now, I know some of us are new to it, it's so great. That looks better already too, actually, even though we've just added in singers. So if you're uncertain exactly where it starts, meaning a top 3 part center, because you've had longer before you have to enter, that's okay to listen a time or two to make sure. It's just the confidence of all of us knowing exactly where the first bass note comes in, because the second one immediately multiplies and then it's nice and lush. But that sound, following the ballad, that'll be pretty impressive, I think. So it's on the upswing, right? Here we go, one more time.
Steppin' out, steppin' out with my baby, can't go wrong, cause I am right. It's for sure.
Great job, Mark. So, here's the deal on this, meaning we did need Greg to help us on a couple of cutoffs, meaning for exact synchronization on the ballad. This one sort of takes care of itself, so we don't want Mark to have to do a lot of phrase ending cutoffs because he's dancing, performing with us. So the first one. Steppin' out with my money, wrong as I'm in right. Sorry about the notes, but it's finishing those word sounds. Right now they're cleaning together. I'm in right, I'm in right, da da da, I'm in right. I'm fine. The way we finish off word sounds, especially with no direction in a good way, da, 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 it definitely involves, as you're finishing off, you're actually sort of emptying your frontal resonance. I'm in right, and you're going to have enough air in the tank to quickly tilt it that way, right? I'm in right, stepping out with my baby, I'm in right. Just finishing off those word sounds, because that's going to get that crisp, clean connection from phrase to phrase. The openness of that ballad sound on the start of the up tune was awesome. And each time you get past that, it even sounds a bit more bassy before we launch it. One more time.
Steppin' out with my baby, can't go wrong 'cause I've been right. It's for sure, not for maybe, that I'm all dressed up tonight. Steppin' out with my honey, can't be bad, it feels so good, never felt.
Visuals are nice and clean there, need more facial transition. Feels so good, that's different than the one in front of it, right? You need to see the difference in your face and not just transitioning to the next set of planned gestures. So that happened a bit there. There's a huge opportunity. Sorry, were the lyrics right there? Feel so bad. What is it? Can't be bad. Feel so good. Thank you. Can't be bad. So good. Those looked exactly the same, besides the gestures changing. Are they the same? No. Actually, need to be a little bit more bad on good and good on bad, actually. Good start.
Steppin' out, steppin' out, steppin' out with my baby, can't go wrong 'cause I'm in right. It's for sure, not for maybe, that I'm all dressed up tonight. Steppin' out with my honey, can't be bad, it feels so good, never felt quite so sunny, and I keep on knocking wood.
Right in front, starting to pick really good. Not so sunny. Every once in a while on a transitional breath, usually prefacing some stunning move. That happened to be the hat thing. But there's a slight quick disconnect. It's like you finish a passage respectfully, then we let our guard down for a moment on the next couple of syllables on the next phrase, and then you're back. So the big one that I noticed there, in a good way, the first one, was right before the hat move vocally. Da-da-da. You got to be right on the front line of the next set of lyrics. So it was still clean and together, but suddenly the sound got a bit cloudy. It wasn't as ringy and crisp as it was leading into that. Know what I'm talking about? Awesome. One more time from the top. I will not direct those cutoffs for you. You got it.
Steppin' out, steppin' out with my baby, can't go wrong 'cause I've been right. It's for sure, not for maybe, that I'm all dressed up tonight. Steppin' out with my honey, can't be bad, it feels so good, never felt quite so sunny, and I keep on knocking wood. There's smooth sailing 'cause I'm dreaming my sails in my top hat.
So I'm dreaming my sails. It's knowing how long you hold those. So what happens is it just loses a bit of confidence the longer we hold it, because some of us aren't exactly sure time-wise where we cut that off. And again, I'm not a great rhythm guy. I've gotten better over the years at it, but it's just doubling up. It's always the simple math of is there any lead that actually knows how many counts you hold sails before you go? Keep the money, sails, 2, 3, 4, it's a long haul, leads, and you got to know right where it is. And I think we do give an official quick breath before, right before your pickup there, leads. Got to go tip one more time, please. That was awesome. Tip top. Get on that key. The more air, the better.
While we're doing the snaps, start taking your breath in there. Otherwise, you're going to be late.
Same as we talked about starting with our mouths open on the ballot. That whole time you can be going. You get all that time to be breathing through the U and it's starting to look like a Vegas.
Besides that, you're still smiling at the crowd.
Steppin' out with my baby, can't go wrong 'cause I am right. It's for sure, not for maybe, that I'm all dressed up tonight. Stepping out with my honey, can't be bad, it feels so good. Never felt quite so sunny, and I keep on knocking wood. Next who's it, 'cause I'm trimming my sails. In my top hat and my white tie and my tails, oh yeah. Stepping out with my baby.
Really good. Love it. Love it. So then after that, yeah. Not just the visual design, but you got the development, right? You got the restate every time. Yeah. Even though that bass run doesn't continue, it really does silently all the way. All the way through, so that it keeps on rocking. The more you can widen that sound, man, that became a pretty lush, complete up-tuned sound there. That was pretty smoking. And as it continued, stepping out with my honey, all inside the mouth, meaning that only in good terms. Don't worry about your vowel targets getting outside of the mouth. Just stepping out with my baby honey, right in front of you all the time. Cool. One more time. Tip top. Thanks for your patience, Mark. Here we go. Get on that key, gentlemen. Nah, I'll take the hit for that. I still want you to breathe in time with everyone.
I'm seeing what he's seeing, which is we got some.
Like almost like you're startled that, oh, we might sing it up too. No, seriously, it seems like it startled some of us that we're actually going to sing something like, so. You got all that time to prepare.
Remember, you're still acknowledging the crowd while it's going on.
Yes! Good point.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong 'cause I am right. It's for sure, not for maybe, that I'm all dressed up tonight. Stepping out with my honey, can't be bad, it feels so good. Never felt quite so sunny, and I keep on knocking wood. First who's it, 'cause I'm trimming my sails. In my top hat and my white tie and my tails, oh yeah. Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong 'cause I've been right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day may be tonight.
That's good up to there, gentlemen. The next one is the big day. That transition, the of the big day, is a little suspect. Can we phrase that the chord, that quick passing eight there? What's the second chorus? They're all so similar. Stepping up. Getting into that last the big day, baby, right before that transition.
Oh,
Can't go wrong with designing right.
Has to be moved.
Has to be
Can we just sing it once? Is that okay, just from that spot? Or wherever's easiest to get us in, doesn't matter.
This move.
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
This smooth sailing, 'cause I'm trimming my sails. In my top hat and my white tie.
Is in my a four-part?
In my.
That's all four parts on in my?
No, I just happen to be looking. The whole course is like,
Yes, it is.
Okay, good, thank you. So before being serious, I thought that was a lead pickup because it was sort of light, or maybe a lead berry thing. So that's four parts. So quick math would be that some of us haven't been singing that, maybe just taking a longer breath, but we'll need all four parts on that one. What is it? And they'll be, what is it?
There's smooth sailing.
In my, sorry, in my, thank you. Cool. One more time.
There's smooth sailing, 'cause
Now that we get this, and when we do it in context, smooth. Very bass, smooth 5. Ready, and?
there's smooth sailing, 'cause I'm trimming my sails. In my top hat.
That's the one. So all of us know how long we hold sails. In my top, ba-ba-da-da. Yes? What are you hearing, Lord?
In my top. It's not what's written.
Is my sails in my top, in my top,
Josh, yeah, Josh.
in my in my top hat, in my top hat, in my slow.
That's
Basses, raise your hands. Thank you. They'll be smooth, just the basses, just the basses. Ready?
Smooth sailing, 'cause I'm trimming my sails.
One more time.
Smooth sailing, 'cause I'm trimming my sails.
I need you, please.
Smooth sailing, 'cause I'm trimming my sails.
Trimming my sails. Sorry, I'm a fake bass. So be super clean on that descent sound. Some of us part our ways there. Ready?
In my top, right.
Yep, that's the next part that we're talking about. But that right out of the gate. Ready, basses again, smooth. A 1, 2, 3.
Smooth sailing, 'cause I'm trimming my sails.
It's the my. So,
Smooth sailing, 'cause I'm
in my. All of those different notes. Sounds like two of them on occasion are the same note.
Smooth sailing, 'cause I'm trimming my sails.
When we get to trim, we're going to go slow, basses. Smooth, ready, a 1, 2, 3.
Smooth sailing, 'cause I'm trimming
Trim again.
my sails.
So that's different than a few of us are choosing.
Might say
Smooth, a 1, 2, go.
Smooth sailing, 'cause I'm trimming my sails.
My sails. So for today's purposes, we'll move on now, but let's circle that one. So that's homework bases. I circled those 3 chords in the ballad too for all of us that we lined up just to make sure that we lock them in between now and Tuesday. Because next Tuesday coming up, that's team practice, not your individual reminder practice. Cool. One more time, please. Basses again in tempo. A 1, 2, 3.
Smooth sailing, 'cause I'm trimming my sails.
Yep, that's it.
My top hat, my white tie, my
And that one too. Sorry to stop you. And my. So both my's are a little suspect there, basis. Sorry.
My wife.
Remember the 7th to the 14th in sections. Hardly gonna work it.
Yep.
Well, these are great notes. I wish I'd learned.
Lead bass only, right there, please. Three, 1, 2.
This smooth sail, 'cause I'm training my sails, and my call and my white tie and my tails. Oh yeah.
So respectfully, just thinking of you as my brothers in harmony, basses, you need to know that run a lot better. Meaning, you'll need to get that one more under your belt. There's a couple of quick little moving eighth notes that some of us respectfully aren't aware that we've not been hitting right on the nose. So if I'm going home by myself, regardless of what part I sing, I'll need to slow that down to make sure I hear those. Right now, because of the performance tempo, some of us are trying to keep up and we haven't quite perfected the terrain. That just happens to be the basses this time. It's going to happen to every part at different times. And the simple math of it is, the reason I'm harping on it now, the simple math is the more times we rep it the other way, the tougher it is to unrep it the new way. So it's always about awareness of, oops, I didn't realize I accidentally was singing that sharp instead of natural. It's always awareness. No one purposely misses a gesture or a note. It's about you being a bit more aware from where you stand. It's easier to be a bit more aware from where you stand if you're not singing at full volume. Otherwise, you'll have trouble hearing those around you. Generally, I think we make good choices on that. But that aspect of listening first and the awareness of, ooh, that sounded, I didn't notice I sound a little different than the lead next to me, or whatever it might be. You need to be more aware of that as opposed to just going through the maze and trying to be note perfect. Now you need to be more aware. That's the land of A. The more aware we are as individuals and as a team, the more we can have our way within the audience we perform for. That's basically it. And usually you'll enjoy those scores. When you're having your way with the audience, you'll usually be pretty jazzed about what the judges think about it. So that aspect, you've got two killer vehicles, again, that speak beyond barbershop, meaning these songs speak to most audiences, whether they've ever heard of barbershop or not. That's the perfect sign of killer contest music. The ballad and the uptune are recognizable outside of our barbershop circle in a great way. Great choices. So now, keeping the uptune sounding like the ballad, and we mentioned again, just because I know you can handle it, you're that good, you're A-worthy. Nothing beats right notes and words, no matter how great your instruction is every Tuesday night. You're in charge of that. Read the small print in your contract. You've signed up to learn every note and lyric, and then your leadership will help you make it amazing, right? Awesome. Can we go one more time from the top, Mark? All the way back to the top.
Everybody's singing bass.
Everyone's in.
Steppin' out, steppin' out with my baby. Can't go wrong 'cause I'm in right. It's for sure, not for maybe, that I'm all dressed up tonight. Steppin' out with my honey. Can't be bad, it feels so good. Never felt quite so sunny. And I keep on knocking wood. It's smooth sailing 'cause I'm trimming my sails. In my top hat and my white tie, my tails. Oh yeah, stepping out with my baby. Can't go wrong 'cause I'm in right. Asking when will the day be? The big day may be tonight. If I seem to scintillate.
Even really good up to there, nice transition. So even though this changes rooms and it's not the same volume, it still demands the same complete right before. If I tend to, otherwise it'll be easy to take a shot of breath. breath in, she going in and then the sound goes here a little bit. That's still the way you always breathe, even though the dynamic's different and it's a little bit more sophisticated look and sound. It's still a complete breath, though. The big day. Where can we go right before the big day must be tonight?
If I can't go wrong.
From right there with no visuals once, please.
No moves right now.
But in character.
Now, with my hand, I can't go wrong.
Stepping out with my baby.
Always the rules. Thanks for being ready. The energy's great. You always got to start with your weapon in place. Step it up. Too late. You'll hurt somebody. Those next to you.
Exactly where you want to start.
Right before I see the silhouette.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day, baby.
Please let me in. Will the day be? Same spot leads only. Be ready, harmony parts. You're going to be thrown in quickly.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right.
Even my baby there leads. Is this different than the other times? Here we go.
Does it go down?
No worries. Now, again, this is just me being unfiltered big brother. So knowing the song as we move forward would be knowing it so we can get in anywhere and not, okay, is this the time where we do this? Respectfully, the level that I'm talking about of knowing notes and words, you can get in anywhere, anytime, boom. That's knowing it cold. So most of us know it by memory, but knowing it cold, you never are confused of, oh, this is this set of lyrics, I know exactly what my note terrain is. Respectfully, if you're thinking, is this where I do this? Then you need to spend more time so you know it cold. One more time, same thing.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right.
With my baby.
Which is different than other options.
Leads only, please.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day may be tonight.
The big day, the big day. That sounded good, Leeds. One more time, please, Leeds. Same spot.
Stepping out with my baby.
That's plenty of volume too. So more of stepping out with my babe, stepping out with my babe. More fun with that slingshot, those finishing word sounds. Ready? A 1, 2, 3.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day may be tonight.
So even though they have that goes around that, that was really good, lead singers. The big day may be tonight. Then it'll have a bit of development launch to that, right? In your own natural voice, but just make sure that you have fun without the leads when they're doing those echoes, right? Can we do basses only, please? Same spot, basses, don't ask where.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right.
This is basses only.
Bases only, please.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right.
Note perfect, and placement was good too. But make sure you can't go wrong, can't go wrong, can't go, even in your tongue, can't go wrong, can't go. Automatic transmission basses, no gear shifting, da 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 da. Even eighth notes, flush them out, automatic transmission.
Stepping out with my baby.
Now, automatic transmission doesn't mean getting in the back seat. System will be right there, stepping out.
Not a self-driving car, you have to do that.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm
Yes.
in right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day, baby.
Will the day be the exact location of that bead. That was a little squirrely, and that's going to have impact on the big that follows. Ready? One more time, please, bases.
Stepping out with
I know this could be monotonous and way to hang in there, but every time you have the opportunity, try to print it to here.
Stepping out. I want to get past this and have fun.
Well, you're printing it like this.
Stepping every time. Try to print it in the end game of the cosmetic of the production you want. Every time you do it. Every time you do it. Repetition is the mother of education. Repetition is the mother of education. Repetition is the mother of education.
You do it again and again and again until you can't miss it. Here we go. Ready? One more time.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be? The big day may be tonight.
The big day may be.
So what it is?
The big day may be tonight. Thank you. The big day may be tonight.
Tonight, right? And then the act was awesome. Lead bass together.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be? The big day may be tonight.
So this is all leads and basses. So the leads are there tonight. So that's a lead root, bass 5. You want to make sure you're each time you're snuggling up against that lead root there, basses. Ready? One more time, lead bass.
Stepping out with my baby.
Energy's great. I'll take the hit for that being a little outside the ring spot. So back it up with air. The only thing that lacked was the air in the space. It can still be that energizer.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be? The big day may be tonight.
And now you can bring it a bit in a fun way, basses. Lead bass one more time, please.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be? The big day may be tonight.
Absolutely, that's going somewhere. Baritones and only the baritones. Right there, safe spot.
Stepping out with my baby.
Yeah, that's what she's doing.
Stepping out with my baby.
What's happening?
I'm missing my notes.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when.
So we need to know that a bit better, baritones. A couple of us know it pretty darn well, but there's some of us that are just hanging in the weeds. What it's doing is, respectfully, it's impacting your placement. So even if you're actually touching the right notes, you're not contributing, you're just sort of like in the weeds. So the lead placement in the baritone voice was lacking because of confidence of that part. And this is challenging. This is absolutely a fun, challenging baritone part. It moves at breakneck speed, and you're all over the map like that, and it's got to be like this, baritones. So you ever see a swan gliding across the lake? You need to be above the surface of the water part, baritones, not be below. Right now, that's what I'm getting, baritones. I'm only getting below the surface. Man, this is really a tough part. And I only want the swan on top of the lake. Ugly ducklings come to mind. This might be a transformation. So tenors, you'll need to explain it to him later. Here we go. Baritones one more time, please. Thanks for hanging, guys.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong.
So the discrepancy on can't, one more time.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right.
So that's homework. We can do whatever you'd like to, Mark, now to line them in, but that's definitely homework.
Okay, let's do it again.
Okay.
One more time, everyone.
Yep.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day may be tonight.
So respectfully, that needs a lot more attention as a section. So I'm okay if you want to spend time on it now, but I would suggest that that's something you need to absolutely lock in on Tuesday night, baritones. Do you agree, baritones?
Yes.
That's an elusive passage for us. And it could be, well, always in any passage, but this is real challenging. This spot is the one that you could woodshed, like you can't baritone over songs. This moves too quickly, and it's not always the progression you're expecting to hear. Say again?
Oh, I was telling Mark, circle it.
I did not know where it is at all.
Okay, great.
In scarlet red, the scarlet red. Here we go, baritones, one more time, please.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day may be tonight, tonight, tonight.
Definitely better, but the big day may be tonight, still massive homework there, baritones, right? Remind me again, we didn't have learning media to this one, or we did?
No, we did not.
We did not. Sure, lead baritone. Okay, lead sing really loudly so we can cover up that baritone. Just teasing. Here we go. Lead sing. Thanks for being good sports.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I've been right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day may be tonight.
That needs to be learned, cold baritone. So there's so many tight voices between us and the leads. We're only like a step apart between a lot of that, and it's not confident enough baritones. So if we have a baritone that could record it for us before we leave today, that run, that would be awesome. Or I don't know what our access is to upload something to a website or something like that, but that would be awesome, thank you. With your permission, I'd move on from that, and I mean that respectfully. Don't be down about it because we got 7 weeks to perfect it, that's the great news. But I'd rather have us pick it now and then get it done before we arrive in, are we going to Dallas again? Where's contest? Has it been in Dallas forever, like decades? Tenors, are you okay to dive back in cold into the fray? Stepping out, tenors.
Tenors only?
Yes, tenors only, please. Step. Are we on side?
Isn't it step,
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 step. Step.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day may be tonight.
And then you just post with the lead singers. Yeah, just one echo. The basses have 3. You just go tonight, or you go tonight. Tonight. They got 3 of them. You got that first one. Okay, got you. Cool. One more time, please, tenors. Way to know your part, tenors. So at the tail end of it, I'm not sure if it was fuel air related, but at the tail end of that run, the voices sounded a little different. The first 2/3 of the phrase, you sounded like one identical voice in a great way, but towards the end, when we were fuel challenged, then I heard individual sounds. One more time, please, tenors. That's okay. Stepping out,
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day may be tonight, tonight.
Nice job, tenors. And then the flawless agreement of the pitch of the word day. It sounds like maybe one of us is slightly gracious on it, overshooting it a bit. All 4. What was that? Excuse you. Just easy. This is all 4 parts. Here we go, ready? Are you ready, all 4? Now, various basses and leads. Can you be stunning on your first attempt back? Tenors are ready. So let's get it all together now. This is all 4 parts. Don't ask for where we've been rehearsing. Ready? Here we go. All 4.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day may be tonight. If I seem to sit away,
What that does is night to night. If I seem to, then that has a little bit more of a full body manly sound, even as you go to this move, whenever we're going there visually. So that was about the breath and the finish of da-da-da. When you have a little bit more move to the end of that, it takes on a whole new format into the next section. If it's just night to night, night to night, da-da-da-da.
Make sure that's a complete manual sound on that transition. One more time, please. Can this be total performance now? All visual, everything's in from that chorus. But hang, champs.
stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right.
This is where we've been rehearsing, and now visuals are in. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day may be tonight, tonight. If I seem to scintillate, it's because I've got a day.
The contrast remains the same, but just on a much larger scale, right? Right? Reminds me of that middle section of putting on the reds. More of that majestic, sophisticated feel, right? The middle of putting on the reds. Yes. Cool. One more time, please. Same thing. You know who else is working this hard today? Absolutely nobody. That's right. Just DSO. All right. Here we go. And hang, champs. 1, 2, 3.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be, the big day may be tonight, tonight. If I seem to scintillate, it's because I've got a day with a package of the good things that come with God.
Your faces. So all of that's great singing, and now it's the development of the storytelling. That's going to be more outside of the box, over the top in your descriptive lyrics. It sounds great, looks nice and clean, so I like the overall look of it, but it's not electric enough in the storytelling. It's got to be way more electric than it comes across as. Not doing anything wrong, just want it on steroids in a good way. In a good way, it'd be awesome if we came off the stage and were the first chorus tested for steroids. Way to crush that tag! Awesome, awesome.
Same spot.
Sorry, no, sorry, all the initials. BSO, RSO, PhD. Performance enhancing drugs.
That would be THD, tag enhancing.
Right.
Same spot. And
Stepping out with my baby.
Energy's great, just always remember to show up with your breath. It's plenty loud enough, it's exciting, but man, it is bulletproof almost when you remember to take that full, complete breath. It's simple math. The more of us that get it, the more amazing we sound.
Stepping out with my baby, can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be?
What?
The big day may be tonight. If I seem to scintillate, it's because I've got
Tell
a
the story.
day with a package of
awesome. You're so much better than Greg. So, just teasing. Greg is awesome. Greg is awesome. So, that passage,
That check needs to be mailed to where?
man, that took on a life of its own. So that's what I'm here to tell you. The great news is this. Make sure that you're rejoicing in all the tons of things that we're doing at an extremely high level. Even if there's still works in progress, perfecting note terrain, that kind of stuff, what you're overall capturing and bringing more and more often to these songs is being in them. So it's good that you've had them for a year and a half, 2 years. It sounds like we're just starting to own them in a good way. We don't have to overthink it. It's not rocket science, no disrespect, so that'll rule out Space City. Next! It's not rocket science, gentlemen. It's simple math. And we know how to count here in Oklahoma City. Wherever you'd like to go. We can go from that middle section now, Mark. Putting on the rich section.
Finley.
Yes.
No.
Transition is fine, then. Couldn't hurt to get a rip again if you want to.
That'll work.
If I seem to scintillate, it's because I've got a date with a package of.
My turn. If you have a big date, what does your face look like?
Yeah.
Depends on the day.
If it's a date you set up and you've been looking forward to for months, what does your face look like? Happy. Some of you are acting like you got sour pickles put in your lunch or something. Happy, joy.
Love is a sour pickled thing.
Bring it! You know, there are a couple of guys who went around with that parody. And there it is, chorus. Here we go.
Hey, by the way, hopefully you're having fun because we are. Man, I like this ballad sound that you're infusing into the uptune. Man, it's a nice, warm, complete. It almost sounds too good to be an uptune. That's how warm and wide this sound is, including that ba-da-da. That's definitely bigger, but man, that's a nice, mature, big, ringy sound. I like it. It sounds like a ballad.
Pitch blows, your face is supposed to be where it's. Some of you are still a little sour.
If I seem to scintillate.
Okay, so still everything about that was perfect except you forgot to take your complete breath. It was clean, in tune, flawless together. Everyone looked great. You forgot to breathe.
If I seem to scintillate, it's because I've got a date with a package of.
Oh my gosh!
That come with love. You don't have to ask me. I won't waste your time. But if you should ask me why I feel so sublime, because I am gonna be stepping out.
Now you go on more than ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Even more of that. So the same thing we did on the ballad, where you started to explore and discover, like, wow, we can actually be that dramatic, that deliberate. This would be the spot in the up to really rock that stomp. Again, we're doing nothing wrong. It's clean, it's exact. It just seems like that could be more outside of the box. Like, at least the stomp comes from New York City. Everything else, Oklahoma City. The stomp, New York City. Just more of that New York City attitude. Anybody here originally from New York? None of them survived, huh?
Here we go.
Scintillate.
Complete breath.
If I seem to scintillate, it's because I've got a date with a package of good things that come with love. You don't have to ask me, 'cause I won't waste your time. But if you should ask me why I feel so
5. Today, baby. Let's let Mark show us off a bit more, and that'll be led by the bass clef, Route 5 Barry bass. Man, that was good up there. I still think that stomp could be even slower. Just trust me, you can always change it back after I leave. But for right now, I mean, really rock, no louder, it's plenty loud enough. Just big, rich, big, nasty, dirty stomp is what we want there. Have more fun with that. It's a little too close with the vest.
If I seem to sin a little,
Complete breath, ready? 1, 2, 3.
if I seem to sin a late, it's because I've got a date with a package of the good things that come with love. You don't have to ask me, 'cause I won't waste your time. But if you should ask me why
up to there. That was the first tiny little sync thing where we weren't in full screaming on tonight as we're about to head to the barn there, right? Isn't this headed to the tag now? Pretty close. Cool. That was my favorite stomp yet. Still need to trust it more in a good way. You've rehearsed it enough the other way at the slightly more aggressive tempo, if you will. I want that stomp to rock even a bit more. It's plenty loud enough. So you don't need to add any volume or anything more than just that slow tease and taunt stomp there. And it goes feet, heel, soul, be on. Then kicking it, actually a slight tempo kick there, even a bit more than we naturally do. Can we try it? Gotta get from that same spot, please, Mark. Complete breath.
if I seem to sin a little,
Give us refresh that key, please. Thank you. Breathe.
if I seem to sin a late, it's because I've got a date with a package of the good things that come with love. You don't have to ask me, 'cause I won't waste your time. But if you should ask me why I feel so because I wanna be stepping out with my baby. Can't go wrong, 'cause I ain't right. It's for sure, not for me. That I'm all dressed up tonight. Tonight I'm stepping out with my baby. Can't go wrong, 'cause I can write. Ask me when will the day be? The big day may be to step out with my baby. Can't go wrong, 'cause I can write. The big day may be tonight.
So the drive of that's great. Harmony parts, as the leads are launched at the end. Hey, baby, oh, hey, baby, tonight. That last chord has to go upward and out towards the listener. Right now, it's like a landing home pigeon, if you will. It's like, hey, baby, oh. So we don't actually add ring to the leads on that last one. Unless it's tonight, tonight. You got to make sure that there's plenty of smile to that various and basses to help the leads on the last one. Noting it's a selfish lead. On the occasions that I got to hold a note, I can hold it longer when my bass clef comes in on the final root 5 and absolutely sticks it, it almost like it gives me a few extra seconds to hold the note because of how flawlessly they take away the pressure from me as a lead singer. So even in the chorus structure, the approach is the same. Even if you got other leads with you. But then, that's plenty of lead sound. Let them do all the excitement. Hey, baby, tonight. But when you get to the end of that night, oh, night, immediately flash your face on that root 5 areas and basses. That kick on 9 to 9, can you do that same tempo kick but not let volume come into it? We made it a little louder too. How about it actually gets half the volume and double the intensity? So 9 to 9. Into the tag, right? Can we try it? So we gotta go before that transition. It couldn't hurt to do the whole run again, even though we've been there. Just because of the way that was all connected, it dictates a certain pacing. That was the best stomp yet, too, by far.
So this is the
If I seem to scintillate, it's because I've got a date with the package of the good things that come with love. You don't have to ask me, I won't waste your time. But if you should ask me why I feel so fine, definitely stepping out with my baby. She can't go wrong. Shining bright, you know that it is for sure, not for maybe. Breathe. That I'm all dressed up tonight. I'm stepping out with my baby. Can't go wrong, 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be? The big day may be true. Stepping out.
So, if you cannot see the director, either director at any time, the official rule is you're performing silently until he comes back into your view. So that time we had a baritone that didn't see the cutoff. So they'll hear that, meaning it's okay that it's here, but although they'll understand, we do not forgive when a stray voice does not cut off with the herd. It has extreme impact. So you're focused on that. If for some bizarre reason, Mark's getting involved and suddenly you lose sight of him, you're performing silently until he's back in your view if you're uncertain about anything. Not just, okay, I lost sight and I think this is it, boom. It's okay. That's a smarter choice. Way better on the 9 to 9. The closer we get to the barn, the dumber we become. So the IQ actually lowers the closer we get to the tag. And you got to remember to keep on taking on fuel. Every time we get those quick rest opportunities to flood the system with that warm, complete air of sound. So when we get to the end, you can hold that forever instead of huffing and puffing a bit, right? So store up your acorns of oxygen, if you will, headed to the tag. Got to go all the way back, sorry, to scintillate, cancellate. Yeah, can we go before this? Oh, sorry, Julia point. Yeah, sorry. Cool your jets for a second.
Provide all rest and then slowly bringing it forwards over the idea.
Yeah, maybe in a fun way, when you're in that environment, you won't have to ask for them to creep it forward. From that stage on, you know what I'm saying? I think that will take care of development's going to take care of it. You'll probably have minimal say at that point in time. But yes, but that's the design of it, yes. So when we do, he's asking about that last 9 to 9. Yes, from there basically to the end is a tease, taunt, gradual, developed crescendo, all the way to the end of the tag. all the way to the end, not just the lead post. All of us creep up on the listener from, yes, it's a gradual crescendo all the way to the end of the tag. And that'll involve more personal breaths, probably from every stud up on the risers. Even if you're one of the best at singing forever, you might want an extra breath or two getting into that tag to make sure you're always... What happens is when we run short of air, we lose IQ and then we don't make the greatest choices. It's funny how everything blurs out when you lose air. So it's better to have more breaths planned in advance, so in that stressful environment where the air's thinner than any other place, you're not overwhelmed, because then it's hard to recover in the moment once you get overwhelmed. You can't catch up on breath. So again, you have 7 weeks to sprinkle in some more personal breaths for yourself throughout both of these killer tunes. So at the end of the most important runs, you're always making the best choices because you're not challenged for lack of air or fuel. To me, then, it's our IQ, and this is a smart chorus. So it's being smart as we're headed to the barn, if you will. Should we give him another breather? How are we doing time-wise?
We got plenty of time. 4 o'clock. We do need to take a break.
Yeah, let's give him another breather. Another water breather.
Perfect time.
Way to hang, champs.